You are listening to Become a Guitarist Today podcast with Adam Roach.
Hey there, and welcome to episode number 158 with my guest today, Vince Martell from the band Vanilla Fudge. So Vanilla Fudge have just released a new single, which is Stop in the Name of Love, originally done by the Supremes, released by Golden Robot Records. So in today's podcast, we'll talk all about the single, the beginning of Vanilla Fudge back in 1967, and Vince shares some great stories about the band and what's coming up. And thank you to my sponsors, Custom Guitar Picks, Musician, and Arnaud Krakowka.
You don't need a drummer to make an amazing metal song. All you need is access to tracks produced in a great studio by a great engineer. My full-length drum tracks are crafted using the best sounding samples I've been developing for over a decade and have been used by thousands of professional musicians worldwide up to the highest level in the industry, including John 5 and Gus G. Stop wasting hours of your time trying to program drums and stop wasting tons of money to have your drummer record in a studio for mediocre results. With my drum tracks, you don't need to worry about any of that. Just drag and drop your tracks, press record, and you're done. All of that with a killer, authentic sound. So go to my website, arnaudkrakowka.com, to start rocking.
Now listen into the end of the podcast where I share a little MP3 of a tribute to Tim Bogert, the original bass player, who unfortunately passed away this year. So this is a great little tribute to Tim. Hello, Vince.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you? It's Adam Roach here from the Become a Guitarist Today podcast in Melbourne, Australia.
Okay, how you doing, Adam?
Yeah, very good. Yourself?
Yeah, good.
That's good. Whereabouts are you now? You in New York?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. Okay.
Are you in Australia?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in Melbourne, Australia.
What? Melbourne. Okay.
But yeah, I just want to say congratulations with the single. Thank you.
Yeah, so you like it?
Yeah, I just love the way you guys do your takes, of the different songs. Even like when you very first started, your versions of all the other songs, and then this one as well.
Thank you.
What a way to get it too, with Tim on the bass for his last track. That must have been very special for you guys.
Boy, I'm telling you, I'm really glad that we were able to get him on because he wasn't feeling good.
Yeah.
And he went down to the studio in his pajamas and not feeling good, and he put the bass track down on it, and God bless him, we love him for that.
And like I say, the way it came out, and even to have that little breakdown that you got, towards the end of the song where it's just got the bass and Carmine on drums. So.
Right, yeah, it sounds like the bass is breathing hard, right? Right?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's...
That's right.
I know, that's really something. Yeah.
Yeah, so very, very special. And I heard the legacy thing you guys put out, the tribute to Tim as well. That was very moving.
Oh, yes. That's how, we love Timmy. He's just a wonderful. We're going to have actually they're going to have a service for him up in New Jersey on Monday. His wife is flying in from California. And we're going to show up. We're going to play Little People Get Ready.
Okay.
And, yeah. So that's what's happening.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, it's great that you guys are doing that.
Yes, that's how we feel. Got to do is one of the greatest, if not at the top of rock bass players that has been in rock and roll. To me, it's just you got to check out the Ray Anthony show and watch Timmy on that if you've never seen it. And you can see he was a great showman and a great player and a great performer and a great person. And,
Yeah.
God bless him.
And like I was saying, even back in the, was it 1967 when you guys first started?
Yes, 67. Well, we actually were the Pigeons in 66.
Okay.
Yeah, we played around Jersey and New York areas, and but the song came out in 67. We had a great producer, George Shadow Morton, a great record company, great management, and everything just clicked, and so it was great.
Yeah.
It really was.
And even that performance on the, was the Ed Sullivan show of you guys?
Yeah, we did two of those. Yeah, we did it two times. He used to be a prize fighter, Ed Sullivan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Before he got into, I guess, TV. Yeah, but nice cat. He'd come in the back of the stage area before he went on, said hello, and everybody shook hands and everything. Real nice, down-to-earth guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, even your show on that, like for back in, 67, 68, you guys, on stage, just in your harmonies and Carmine with his little tricks with the sticks. It was just like, who had seen that before?
Yeah. Carmine and Timmy is like two players with one heartbeat, and Mark is fantastic arranger and performer and vocalist, and I put my 2 cents in there, and we just were able to make something wonderful happen.
Yeah, very, very talented band.
Yeah.
So who was the main arranger of the songs?
I would give Mark the credit for that. He was the one that would usually, Keep Me Hanging On. It was Mark and Timmy were listening to a Supremes version. I think they were smoking something funny in the car. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And, yeah, right? And they heard the Supremes come on, and it just sounded too happy for the lyric content, what the song's lyrics were, and they just sounded too happy emotionally for what the lyric content was. And so when we came to a rehearsal, they mentioned it to us, to me and Carmine, and we said, yeah, let's get into that song. And, so I came up with the guitar intro, and Mark came up with a big part of the arrangement, and along with Carmine was a great arranger in his own right, and Timmy and Carmine would come up with fantastic bass and drum parts themselves, and that's it. And I was concentrating on keeping it as heavy and as fat as I could with the guitar. I was using a 335. I was using a big solid state amp, which had an unusual characteristic of where you would hit a chord, and then a millisecond later, the chord would come back out again. And this is before they had echoes and slapback and all that kind of stuff, before they had those little foot stomping pedals as they have today. This was just a character. This is before, we're talking before they even had guitar tuners.
Yeah.
We used to tune by ear, which was rough on you after you've been playing a bunch of songs loud. You're getting different overtones in your ears after just, so it had an unusual characteristic, and as a result, it did like a distorted sound, and this is just when fuzz tones were first starting out, and before I was even using the fuzz tone, I had that very fat chord sound going, where it just sounded massive, and with the drums and the bass and the organ, it just, it's great.
Yeah.
It turned me on big time.
When you guys did the song, it was more like writing out your own original song, wasn't it? I mean, with the parts you come up with, it wasn't like the same as the original.
Oh, no, we didn't want to do it the same as the original. We wanted to get as much emotion and as much drama as we possibly could get out of the music. Because I know from my perspective, to me, music and playing on stage, it's theater. And you want to get your total emotions into it. We used to do a song like a Rolling Stone where I was singing that one, and in the middle of the song, I would take the guitar off and fall on the floor with the microphone and bang the microphone on the stage, and it was like, the end of the world. So that was my approach, and that's how kind of the group approached everything. It was get as much emotional value as you possibly could get out of the interpretation. It was heavy theater. It wasn't easygoing, light, happy. It was kind of a end of the world dirge. Chips are down, and that's it, man. This is it.
Yeah.
So.
Did you ever sit down and listen to the original and try and figure out the chords, or you just mainly listen to it, get a feel of it, and then do your own thing?
We would stick to the chords.
Yeah.
I would, and we would stick to the chords of the song. But we would just try to get it, slow it down and make it heavy. Make it sound like it's a big deal, not like it's a light, small, happy. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But I like to do stuff that is like time of the end of the world time over here, and let's get the music as heavy as we possibly could. So that's always been my input into the band, and along with, Mark, again, great arranger, and Timmy and Carmine, great drums and bass, and they would have, come out with their own parts, and we would all contribute parts. We all tried to work in conjunction with each other's creativity.
Yep.
There wasn't a lot of no's. We would try stuff. If somebody come up with something, if I would come up with something, and sometimes you got to be a little forceful, whatever it is, to get everybody to listen to the idea. But sometimes something just hits everybody, and that's kind of usually what you would end up going for.
Yeah. And did you ever hear back from the original artists commenting about the songs, your versions?
We heard back from some of the original artists. The Supremes loved our stuff. The Beatles loved our stuff. George Harrison used to play our first album whenever he went to any parties or any castles in England where they would be invited to. From what we heard, he was carrying our album around and playing it for everybody when it first came out.
Oh, wow.
I heard he had a great compliment to say about me, about my guitar playing, which was wonderful. I didn't meet him, but they came to one of the, I think it was Paul McCartney and George Harrison came to a gig we did at the Sayville Theatre in London with The Who. And it was us and The Who. And we actually went over a little better than The Who in the newspapers. We were a little louder, and from what I heard, Peter Townsend didn't want us on the tour anymore to work with them because he didn't like that. But, that's back in the days when everybody was using 100-watt Marshalls, opened up, and you try to play as loud as you could and as heavy as you could. And it was a great night. We had some great nights in our career.
Well, that's incredible. Beatles come see you guys. And, I mean, the two versions, was it Ticket to Ride and Eleanor Rigby? You guys did?
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, you know it. Well, the group had some other things that weren't even released back in the old days. We had a few others. We had done You Can't Do That.
Yep.
Then we had and we had an arrangement. And that we had recorded. Then we had an arrangement of Day Tripper that was coming out really good. That we worked up in a hotel room. This is after Tim. Because Tim hadn't really worked with us for the last, 8-10 years or so. But we came up with a great arrangement, and that we never recorded that. But if we had the opportunity, I think we could, do some more Beatles stuff.
Oh, it's never too late.
Yeah.
So you think you guys will do some more recording with Pete on bass?
Probably, yeah, we will. Because I think we might be working on a Total Supremes album. That's been some talk about us maybe doing that.
Yeah.
And we might have Pete in on that. I hope that it comes to pass that we can do some more Supreme stuff and even Beatles stuff. I mean, I like a lot of the old stuff, especially to rearrange it. We even did the Monkees. We did a couple of songs. We did the Backstreet Boys. We did a bunch of different things. There's some that weren't with all the original guys, but that there was some great arranging out there that I think we could still, now that we're back together. I mean, we were always together, but we had some, as it is in rock and roll, you break up and you get back together. It's like a good and a bad marriage, I guess, sometimes, up and downs. But There's a lot of creativity, I think, still left for us to do. So I hope we do get an opportunity to do it.
I'd love to hear that. If you guys do like a Beatles tribute, an album, just like all Beatles, that'd be fantastic.
I agree with you. I think, I'll mention that to the guys the next time we get talking about it. We should do a Beatles album. There was talk about us doing the White Album at one point. But I think the old Beatles songs are just, I kind of would be wonderful to hear some of those old Beatles tunes redone heavy.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to hearing the Beatle Fudge.
I know. I'd love to do. I hope we get an opportunity to do, but I am going to mention it to the guys because that is a great chance to do from those guys.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really good.
She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She don't care.
Now, how about the album The Spirit of 67? Was that back in 2015?
Yeah, right around then. I think it might have been a little bit before then, but yeah, that's close.
The version you guys do of I'm a Believer.
Right, yeah, see, it's a Monkey song, that came out pretty good.
I reckon it's probably the best I've heard that song. I mean, I've been playing that song for years in cover bands and everything else, and when I heard that one, I thought, that's it. I've got to do that version from now on.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. Now, over to your book. So you got the book out now too, don't you? The Psychedelic Solo?
Yeah, Psychedelic Solo. It's my whole life story, actually. I was in the Navy, grew up in the Bronx, New York, joined the Navy at 17, got out, played music in Florida for a couple of years, then came up and ended up getting into the Pigeons, and then we became Vanilla Fudge. When we were the Pigeons, we had a drummer named Joey Brennan, because it was Joey Brennan, Mark Stein, Tim Bogert. They were in a group, and they were looking to replace the guitar player. And I just came up from Florida, so I got my whole life story in there, and then the Vanilla Fudge and everything else. It's available, a special order, VinceMartell.com.
No, I'll definitely get onto that one. I look forward to reading that.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, that's wonderful. It's been a fun talking, Adam.
Thank you. And we look forward to hearing what else you bring out into the world in your music.
I hope we can come down to that neck of the woods one of these days and do some concerts.
Oh, I hope so. Hopefully next year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks very much, Vince. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Okay, great,
right.
Adam. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You got it,
All right,
brother.
yep.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
Yep, bye.
Bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed the interview with Vince, or Vinny. Now, I'd like to play a very special MP3 that I got from John at Golden Robot Records. He sent me this little MP3 clip. It's a legacy to Tim Bogert, which is the original bass player from Vanilla Fudge. And it features members Carmine Appice, Mark Stein, and Vince Martell. Bit of a dedication to Tim, who sadly passed away early in 2021.
Tim had a beautiful heart. He was a very loyal friend.
I've been friends with Tim for over 55 years. We were like close as brothers.
When he finally passed, I was really, really sad and reflecting on how we came together as friends and became famous together and all the things we did musically all around the world.
I'm Carmine Appice, and I'm the drummer for Vanilla Fudge.
Vince Martell, lead guitarist of the Vanilla Fudge.
Mark Stein, lead singer and keyboardist for classic rock band Vanilla Fudge.
What made Timmy a great bassist is that, he played sax in high school, but he switched to the bass. And he brought his sax phrasings to the bass. He would do these intricate runs. He'd go off on tangents up and down the neck, beat up on the bass. He'd come back to the exact spot in the groove on the lows, just what you wanted. He and Carmine were like two players with one heartbeat.
He had amazing anticipation. You know, he was influenced by James Jamerson with the Motown sound, and he like was on steroids with that stuff. He took it to the next level. He used to do these incredible fills and phrasing, lightning fast, and when the downbeat came, boom, he'd be right back, you know, with the band.
And he started different things like playing with his thumb and pulling on strings and banging his bass. And nobody else did stuff like that. And he was just amazing with coming up with new things on the bass, fuzz tones and all kinds of sounds and stuff. Tim really started a lot of things that bass players today use. He just loved playing bass the way he did. And that really, it was part of his makeup.
Tim was really a super intelligent cat. I mean, when we were young, I mean, I was like 19, 20 years old. He was maybe 22. I used to marvel at the conversations he used to have with a diverse bunch of people. He would talk about, I remember, auto mechanics or foreign affairs, politics. I mean, you name it. And I used to say, how does he know all these things, you know? And I was kind of amazed at the way he could carry on like that for a guy his age.
Matter of fact, he had an answer for any question that you gave him. So we used to nickname him Spock because, you know, you can ask him any question and he'll have some sort of answer. Whether it was correct or not, he made it sound believable and you believed him. We used to share rooms together, so that was pretty wild. We did everything together. I loved him like a brother. He was my brother. I probably spent more time with him than I did with my family.
Probably in the late 60s. I think we were playing a college in Pennsylvania. We were right in the middle of the show, and at the time I was a real skinny pop star like we all were. And I used to sweat a lot, and I'd take my shirt and I'd rip it off, finish the show that way. But I'd swing the shirt around my head and I'd throw it to my roadie, you know, behind me. So I did it, and I'm looking at the audience, and I see people pointing and laughing. I turn around, and my shirt happened to land on Timmy's head. It was covering his head and his face. It was unbelievable. And he was so cool about it. He had a great sense of humor. I thought he was going to get pissed, you know. But he didn't. He started doing like the Chuck Berry chicken walking down the stage, and he just left it hanging on front of his face.
In Paris, France in 1968 in this big theater. And after his bass solo, he went to the front of the stage and he had on his Mickey Mouse t-shirt. He had on his red, round sunglasses, acid-type shades. And he's sitting at the end of the stage with his legs dangling, watching the audience digging Carmine's drum solo. You know, it had to freak the people out watching Timmy looking at them while they're watching the solo, the drum solo going on.
Tom Vitorino, our manager, always wanted us to do another Supreme song. So we put Stop in the Name of Love down, and with the intention, I asked him if he'd play on it. And he was really sick. He had stage 4 cancer and really wasn't doing well. And he said he would. So I had a copy of the track sent to my friend Jorgen Carlson that plays bass with Government Mule. And he agreed to have Tim go over his little studio and put the bass down. Tim's wife, Veda, brought him there, and he wasn't looking good, but he was so cool. He said, I bought this Fender 4-string bass because I know you love the way I play 4-string bass. So that was really nice. And we helped him get through it. He had brain cancer, but as soon as Tim started playing, it was magic. Me and him locked together like the rhythm section we were. It was amazing how quick it locked. He played great on it. He played like Tim. It was definitely a struggle for him to play. He wanted to play one last time. He bothered to do this for us because he wanted to play one last time with the band. He wanted to play one last time with me. His wife told me he was very excited about coming to play on that track.
He did a really, really good job, Timmy, in spite of, fighting his illness, especially knowing it was a very brave thing to do. And I remember he wanted to do it because, it actually made him, feel better about things.
I'm very glad that we got to get him on the last song, that we were able to get him to play on it one more time. I think his bass track is magnificent. And I think that he made a masterpiece for all time. I got to say goodbye to him because I prayed for him, quite a few little prayers and stuff like that, and he listened. And I left some on his machine also at other times. And, he told me he loved me. Vinny, I love you, he told me. And, of course, I told him I love you too, Timmy.
When I found out it was probably his last week on Earth, I called him to say goodbye. And it was a pretty intense moment. And I said, so I guess it sounds like you're going to be leaving town in a couple of days. He goes, yeah, babe, I am. I said, look, I love you. And he goes, love you too. And there was a silence, hung up, and that was the last time I spoke to him.
Timmy was very important in my life. He was always present, always on the phone, always talking. I got to say goodbye to him. I told him, I love you, Tim. And he said the same back to me. I'm grateful we got to say goodbye. I spoke to him a lot at the end, and nothing was left unsaid.